Hey everyone, it's Alex and welcome to the Decks of the Week, the weekly series where I showcase the top 10 best decks in Marvel's Snap. And if you'd like to support this content, hit the like button is the best thing that you can do. And by the way, there's a good chance that if you're catching this on the release date, then I'll be live on Twitch TV covering these Snap drops that are happening right now. So use the link in the description down below to join us on Twitch and make sure you let me know that you're coming from YouTube so I get a chance to say hi, of course. With that being said, let's get started here with deck number one. Now, right off the top, I will note here that I'm going to showcase some like old classic decks. We're also not going to be including the win rates and cube rates here because unfortunately we don't have enough statistics without bot inflation, so the statistics don't really mean all that much. So I went through, I looked at a couple different sources to make sure I can give you the best decks possible to get you going on your quest towards infinite. And apparently Marvel Snap is not loading a bunch of these cards. But anyways, the cards that needed to load are there. So Destroy is a classic climber here. Like, this is well into the mid 60% win rate here. It's doing extremely well right now. The version that's currently doing the best actually is running Lady Deathstrike, which is kind of unique. You love to see it, Lady Deathstrike doing some good stuff. These cards are bothering me, the ones that aren't loading here. Let's at least get some cards that are loaded in. But yeah, so classic Destroy, number 10, pretty damn solid. Nothing too fancy here outside of the use of a Lady Deathstrike, which, I mean, you love to see. It's actually doing really well right now because of the amount of people playing Gilgamesh Zoo style decks, still experimenting with the Season Pass card, and Lady Deathstrike loves munching on those cards. Destroy at number 10. At number 9, it's Loki, and a pretty classic version of Loki as well. This is the kind of deck that could potentially like Thea, but it appears as though the use of like just dropping many cards all at once kind of keeps Thea off the list. The Thea-based lists for Loki are actually running a lower percentage win rate as opposed to just straight up classic Loki. I think one of the key reasons why this particular deck makes a comeback in the first week of the season is because bots tend to snap aggressively into Loki players because your board kind of doesn't look all that great, and then those explosive turn 5 and 6s are where you can take those 4 and 8 cube games away from those silly bots. So anyways, I think that this is a deck that definitely benefits from the bot situation as you kind of rank up towards infinite. So Loki coming in at number 9, very strong. Number 8 is just an oldie and a goodie, and you know what? It's actually running a phenomenal win rate right now. And again, I tried to look up some stuff that was like a little unique. And Hel Discard, I mean, this has kind of fallen off the meta a little bit. People have not been paying as much attention to it, but the win rate is honestly is in the mid 60s. Again, some bot inflation. You also have a cube rate above 1 cube per game, thanks to, you know, bots getting feasted on, stuff like that. But still, it's performing very well on the climb towards infinite, which I think is very important. It's also a deck that people aren't teching for right now. They're not teching against these types of cards, and so you often get an opportunity to steal some games away. Moreover, I think a lot of people, when they see the blades and the sifts and stuff, they're assuming Hela and not necessarily expecting the APOC Dracula style play. Well, until of course they see Dracula hit the ground. Regardless, Hel Discard legitimately running a fantastic win rate right now, and a deck that you can turn to as you work your way towards infinite. We move on to number 7 here, and now we're starting to get into some of the more less classic decks and some of the new hotness. Blink Tech, we talked about it last week. The deck's performing very well. Still running Leech, believe it or not. Leech is still a major factor here, and it's just the classic Blink style deck where you're able to take advantage of Jubilee, even Leech if you happen to play it on 5 and you play your Blink on 6. From there, just extremely high value cards and Red Guardian, Nocturne, and of course the Stealer of Cubes itself, Claw. Now what I really like about this deck is the inclusion of Quake. Quake's cube rate is phenomenal in Snap because it's honestly a surprise piece. It's a legitimate surprise piece that people aren't always expecting, so you're able to really steal some games with Quake, so do not sleep on that card. And so Blink Tech is continuously doing a fantastic job in the meta. As we go to number 6, now I've been doing a lot of work trying to brew a deck for Darkhawk. I'm a Darkhawk believer. I want to see Darkhawk make a comeback here. And this is currently one of the top win rate versions of Darkhawk right now. And it's pretty cool to see, right? You know, I've been trying some like Thea-based Darkhawk, which I really like. But this one here is using Grandmaster. Grandmaster is great in these decks. Even if you just Grandmaster Korg, that's usually enough. But Grandmastering White Widow, phenomenal. Grandmastering Rockslide, just as damn good. If you really want to get spicy, you could Grandmaster Shang-Chi and just take out 2 lanes if you've given up initiative going into turn 6 and they got that Red Hulk waiting in their hand. Really cool deck. I like it a lot. And Black Widow making, you know, it's, I don't want to say debut, but Black Widow's fallen completely out of the meta lately. And so it's good to see it making a comeback. So Grand Hawk here running, you know, Sage a little bit more on the expensive side, of course, a couple expensive cards in here, but generally speaking, hey, Darkhawk, I absolutely love it. And you know what? The disruption package never gets old, unless of course it's being played against you. And then we go to Lockdown. Now, there's two variations of Lockdown in this list. Now, this is the classic one that we've kind of come to know and love. Still a very strong performer, the Dr. Octopus based list. It's just good. Debris is going to take up a lot of space. And although we're seeing a lot of like, you know, zoo style decks, they want to take it, like they want to utilize their space effectively, right? Like the Blue Marvels, the Gilgameshes and stuff. And if you just start to take away their space, any deck hates that, right? Absolutely hates that. You got the White Widow, the Green Goblin, and the Debris. And of course, the Professor X and the Cannonball. Everyone hates Cannonball. And but yeah, this deck is still super cringe and super popular, and it's there's actually a better version of it as well, but this one is still performing if you happen to have invested in these cards. We go to number 4 here. I'm excited about this one. It's literally Ongoing Spectrum. It's straight up Ongoing Spectrum. I'm gonna play a lot of this. I'm gonna play a lot of this because I think it's super fun to play Spectrum based decks. This doesn't include Wong. I think I'm gonna splash Wong in there at some point, but statistically this one's very good. I'll probably end up cutting something like a Mojo because I don't know, I'm just not a Mojo fan. You know, Wong's probably greedy as hell, but I'm greedy. I'm greedy when it comes to Spectrum decks. But anyways, it's cool to see it performing as well as it is. It's also doing very well as you kind of, from a cube rate perspective, to get towards infinite. Its win rate is astronomical. Again, like, I think the meta Punisher is very good into it right now, and to some degree, of course, you know, Mojo will be as well. But the Armor and Cosmo, a lot of people turn to Destroy, which we featured on this list, in order to kind of like just smoothly get towards infinite, right? And this deck just destroys Destroy, right? With Jean Grey, and of course, you also have the Armor Cosmo. So really like this deck. Can't wait to play this one all weekend here for Twitch Drop. So Spectrum is back. As we move on to number 3, now we have a Namora based deck. Now this one here has a phenomenal cube rate. It's just good. It's just good. And Namora has really solidified itself as a legitimate contender in the meta in a very different playstyle as well. Not only that, if you don't end up getting Namora, you have the fallback of Wong White Tiger Odin. You have the fallback of Wong Sage whatever, right? Like you have Ironheart Odin, you have Iron Lad to get some additional value. There's so many winning plays in this particular deck, so it doesn't surprise me it's performing as well as it is. And Namora, I mean, with Nightcrawler and Jeff and Nocturne, of course, these mobile kind of buff seekers are just so good. So this deck is really performing well, and it would not surprise me if it remains in the top 5 win rate based decks and cube rate based decks moving forward over the next couple of weeks. So Namora is legitimate. And that brings us to number 2, Thea Tech. Very similar to that of the Blink Tech, except we're featuring a different card, Thea. Thea, I'm not even sure yet, but this card's been great. I've loved this card. Without question, a phenomenal card in Marvel Snap. And this is currently a top shell with it. I like the addition of the Elsa Bloodstone, the Kitty Pryde Angela package. It was no surprise that this card, Thea, was going to produce remarkable results in Kitty Pryde based packages, and that's exactly what you see here. The thing I really like about this, you get the, you know, the tech of Red Guardian and Luke Cage, you get the reach of Claw, and with all this movement based stuff, I think the Morales is a really spicy addition as well. So honestly, this deck is pretty damn sweet. And the key thing about Morales too that's worth noting is that it gets played as a 1 cost almost consistently. And the result of that is you can use it to combo more effectively with Thea in the event that you don't even have your Kitty Pryde, or you play your Kitty Pryde and your Morales or whatever, right? It gives you an additional option to get some value for Thea. But honestly, at number 2, it is a remarkable deck. As we go to number 1, and this one here is an absolute cook, man. Eternal Havoc. It's a Havoc-based shell, Lockdown-based shell. Sage has got Morph. It's got Thea. It's got everything here. I'm trying to figure out where it originated from. The first person I saw play against, it was Binks, played this against me, actually. And so it could be a Binks brew, but I mean, Binks always be cooking. But anyways, it's just a damn cool deck. And to be talking about a number 1 potential deck, and from a win rate and cube rate perspective, even though, again, there is bot inflation, this was number 1. This was at the top, which is just remarkable. And so I can't believe we're talking about Havoc and Morph right now, but we are. And so does this remain at the top statistically over the next couple weeks? I kind of doubt it, but I can hope for it. I really want it. I want it to stay up there. But from the current standpoint, it is performing remarkably well. Win rate tops of Marvel Snap right now, cool as of recording, of course. So anyways, it's just cool. It's Havoc and Morph, guys, and I think there's going to be more consistent decks a little along the backside there. But at number 1, we had to go with something spicy in the first week of the Eternal season. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and we'll see you on that next Marvel Snap video.